Hey everyone, Multicraft here, back again, this time for the review of Choose or Die.
You choose to die.
This movie was released this year actually, just recently in 2022. I was actually really excited from the trailers to check this one out.
The horror! The horror!
From what I saw, this director doesn't seem to have a lot of huge hits. In fact, I didn't personally recognize any of his other movies, which makes me believe that this one will give him a bit of notoriety. At least those are my hopes, because I thought this movie was really great, and I'm curious what else he has up his sleeve.
What else can you do?
Well,
this movie is starring Asa Butterfield, and if you see him, it seems like he is recognizable, but I personally couldn't name, or I couldn't pick, or didn't seem to recognize, any of the movies that he's been in.
I see something!
It's also starring Iola Evans and has Robert Englund in it, and we know he is Freddy Krueger.
Oh, thanks, Freddy Krueger.
Those are my knife fingers. Also is Eddie Marsan, and he is the boxing brother in Ray Donovan. That one is also a good show, but I digress. This movie revolves around a game that is essentially cursed and operates a bit like Oregon Trail, if you've heard of that game. So the story is made up by text, and the player makes a choice between two things. So the game will come up and basically says, hey, this or that. Okay, this happens, or this or that. So then a player's choices make out the turn of the game and how the game develops. Basically, the choices the character makes, or the player makes, deciding the outcome or next step of the game. Hence, choose or die.
Are you scared yet?
So, like I said, Robert Englund has a bit of a cameo in this movie, which adds a nice touch to its already 80s theme and retro throwback. No, I wasn't born in the 80s, but they are still awesome. Personally, I didn't find the movie gruesome. It was a little gory, but it wasn't overly gruesome. But it was wincy. When I say that, something happens and you're like, ugh. I found myself, depending on different choices of the game and how it develops, I was like, ooh, like almost wanting to gag. So that's actually a great thing. Now I can say the movie definitely keeps you interested. Immediately when I first started watching this, I was like, wow, like the wincy kind of gory things that happen in it is very unique. I found it. Example, so say something said, hey, in the game or Oregon Trail, paint the walls, yes or no. Be careful is what you're thinking, because it may not actually mean paint the walls with paint. It could be something else completely, which made me, depending, like I said, on the choices and how they developed in the game, made me want to gag, which is a good thing. So this was very unique. It was great that the movie could take the 80s theme that people in the 80s seem to always brag about of how great the 80s were. Well, this movie definitely is like, okay, 80s seem like they're pretty freaking awesome. In addition, I'm a big video game person, so hearing the retro video game sounds, again, I wasn't around to play them when I was younger or back in the 80s, but I still played my fair share of retro games, and if you're a gamer, you know the classic 80s sounds, like bloop, bloop, doom, bloop. So those different things we also think of, hey, it's a me, Mario. Anyway, overall, this movie kept me captured all the way through. Choose or die, I choose to watch it, because when I usually would go in to watch a horror movie on Netflix, and have recently, with the ones I've watched, I don't know what to expect. Honestly, I know what to expect. Usually, I'm not gonna like it. Netflix just, to me, hasn't captured, or there haven't been good movies on there that were horror or kept me interested. Now, when I turned on this one, though, the first 10 minutes, I'm in. I'm telling my sister, different people, you gotta watch this, you gotta check this out. Essentially, the overarching theme of it makes me think of if Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, with Robert Egan, it's given 80s, okay. Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Saw made love and had a baby, and this movie was their love child. Seriously, if you like 80s, if you like the nostalgic, interesting 80s theme, if you were born in the 80s, you want to see an interesting horror movie that's not just filled with gruesome gore. There's your fair share of little gory stuff. But if you don't want to see just blood splattering, check this out. If you're interested in a new concept, check this out. If you want to see something that takes a video game and it breaks away from a lot of those, like the VR and the newer stuff we're doing now, check this out. I give this the multi-craft approval. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace out.